Well, you may remember that quite a while ago I said something about playing Dragon Ball Fighters while talking about Dragon Ball. You didn't think that would ever happen, did you? Can't blame you. It's been a while. So, let's do it. Just gonna pick my favorite characters here. So, Piccolo, Vegeta, and Trunks. I have a love-hate relationship with Dragon Ball. Whether it be Dragon Ball Z or Z or however you want to pronounce it, or Super or the movies or whatever. The original Dragon Ball I never watched, and that's a bit too old and silly for me. The silly is really one of my main issues with it. I mean, it's what's it again? Shonen, I think, is the type of anime that it is. I'm not very familiar with anime, but the kind of anime that's, has mainly younger boys in mind as the audience, and it shows because there's a lot of silly stuff, characters with, well, very immature traits, like Goku is a man-child essentially, and I mean, he has a serious mode whenever stuff gets real in fights. He, like, even his eye shape will change, and you know that things are getting real, but he's still kind of a bumbling fool most of the time. So it's and this kind of thing I don't enjoy. Comedic relief, yeah, it's all fine and good, but I'm not particularly fond of that, I have to say. So this is really also why I prefer Piccolo in particular, because he's probably the most mature character among all of them. And yeah, it shows. He's usually the tactician and the one who actually uses his brain the most, it seems. I mean, not that Vegeta or a lot of the other characters are stupid, aside from Goku. And even Goku isn't technically really stupid. I mean, he has a certain kind of intelligence, but yeah. So the super silly stuff where they make chibi faces and all that, I'm not a fan of at all. That just detracts from the rest. I wish it was overall more serious and mature. That would definitely make it more enjoyable to me. So yeah, kind of my main complaint. But there's still a lot of things that it does right. The tension in the fights and just the pure badassery that a lot of the characters show. I can definitely get a lot out of that. Okay, it's been a while since I played it. I don't even remember how to switch characters. Wow. Yeah, would be useful to actually remember things, but we'll get there, I think. These are all the assists. I completely forgot how you switch out characters. That definitely shows you that I haven't played it enough. But either way, mediocre gameplay or not, this is really more of a backdrop for rambles. And yeah, right back at your pal. You fake copy, you made in Taiwan Trunks. One of the things that definitely bother me about the whole thing is not just the fucking half an hour of screaming. That's pretty ridiculous, but at least, it can kind of work to make the character more imposing and increase the tension and everything. But one of my main problems is actually that the power levels are complete bullshit and so through the roof. They ramped everything up way too quickly. I can only imagine that this is one of those cases where originally it wasn't intended to run for anywhere near as long. So you were supposed to reach that top, and then that's it. But then they kept making them, and it just got ridiculous. I mean, original Super Saiyan Goku against Frieza was already pretty absurdly powerful. Like they build up to all this thing of how immensely, absurdly powerful Frieza is, and how powerful had become. Yeah, how powerful Goku had become to beat him. Like, we were already at planet-destroying levels, and if we now look at where we are, or where, for example, Cell was in terms of power, Frieza was like a joke doesn't even begin to describe it in terms of power difference. Now we reach, you know, Beerus, and now Beerus isn't even enough anymore. Now we're way over everything, and now it's just completely bonkers. So the power levels are such absurd levels that it doesn't make any sense anymore, and it's kind of a shame. Particularly, also, what bothers me about that is that all the other characters, you know, basically everybody except Goku in particular and Vegeta to an extent, everybody else is just irrelevant, especially the non-Saiyans. I mean, when Piccolo fused with Kami, it seemed like a big deal. It's like, oh yeah, he's gonna be relevant again, he's gonna be powerful. Nope, not happening. So he's completely outclassed, and it's a real shame. It would be nice to see a lot of the other characters, you know, make a comeback. And I mean, it would be hard to justify them raising to such absurd levels that they could compete with those guys now. But that's exactly my problem with it. You know, the completely retarded power levels make it so that they must be obsolete, essentially. As far as the game is concerned, they did a really good job with it, in my opinion. Like, graphics are pretty much a perfect representation of the show, and it's, yeah, the 2D is very much up my alley. I prefer that over 3D. I mean, this is still kind of 3D-ish. It's got 3D elements, of course, but it's really nice. They captured all the special attacks and everything quite nicely, and all the banter between the characters. This is one of the main things that I enjoy about the game, is that everybody's equal. Because it's a fighting game, they have to be. All the characters have to be fairly balanced, so then you can have stuff like, you know, Tien beating Beerus or whatever, which is completely ridiculous, but it's cool, and it's nice to see. Or, you know, Yamcha getting revenge on Nappa, which is also kind of funny. Entertaining. So, yeah, that sort of thing I really enjoy. I still can't remember how to just regularly switch characters. Wow. That's bad. But that's okay. That's just a backdrop for the rambles. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of running out of rambles anyway at this point. I think I've talked about most things. What I find particularly annoying is how they treated Vegeta oftentimes. You know, like, he had so many moments where it seemed like he was just, you know, the victory was just stolen from him. I would say he works harder and sacrifices more than Goku, and this is one of the things that bother me about Goku. He's just like, even though Dragon Ball has this overall theme of, oh, you can do it, you just have to work hard enough and you have to struggle and you can always become better and everything, at the same time it also sends a clear signal of, well, I mean, it's genetics too. If you either got it or you don't. I mean, with how much more Vegeta has to sacrifice to get to a similar, or at least comparable level to Goku, whereas Goku's just I mean, sure, he trains hard and he's dedicated with his training, don't get me wrong, but, you know, Vegeta tries everything and still can't reach him, and it's, what's the difference? Genetics, I'm assuming, stuff like that. And that's kind of a mixed message right there. Yeah, let me know what you think. What do you think about Dragon Ball and the characters? What are your favorite characters? And do you also think that Vegeta and Piccolo and all the others were completely screwed over? Let's talk about it. So, thanks for watching, folks.